Good morning, everybody. It's looking to be one fine Tuesday, and I'm making my way back through the jungle here, kind of feeling like Jacob, I'm on a mission. I've got to find me a wife. Yep, that's what Jacob's doing. Talk about that in a second. Well, no, we'll talk about it right now because, hey, it's Testy Tuesday. This is a special edition of Testy Tuesday because I'm going to give you 2 chances to come up with a right answer. 2 chances. And they both center around Jacob. So are you ready? Okay, Jacob was out looking to get himself a wife. They kind of did that back in the days. They just kind of were sent out to go to a neighboring tribe. Basically, it's a neighboring town, neighboring village, and look to find someone who would be a suitable wife. All right? Jacob is sent out, but along the way, he stops. He's tired. He goes to sleep. He has a dream. What does Jacob see in that dream? Well, we know he sees angels, but they're climbing something. What are they climbing? Here are your answers. Pick the correct one. Number 1, in Jacob's dream, the angels are climbing A, a mountain, B, a ladder, C, a tree, or D, monkey bars. Good luck. Dun 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 dun. Time is up. What were those angels climbing? Mountain, ladder, a tree, or monkey bars? Of course, we know the answer is Jacob's ladder. They're going up and down the ladder. Yeah, and it's kind of a neat story. Now, the reason I bring that up, I just didn't yank that out of the scripture and say, okay, let's just talk about that today. Because in our Revised Common Lectionary that many of our churches follow, in which we read through a great portion of the scriptures in a 3-year cycle, during the season of Pentecost, you have an option. You can read from option number 1, which is an Old Testament lesson that's paired with the gospel lesson. Has a theme that kind of runs through both of them. Or number 2, you can do a reading that's just continuous, like read through the book of Genesis. And that's what year A does. It reads right through the book of Genesis. And we're in that portion of Genesis where you could have read the story of Jacob falling asleep, seeing the angels going up and down the ladder. It could also be translated stairway, if you want to call it that. The stairway to heaven. Yeah, see, it's cool. The song's biblical. Yeah, right. Anyhow, he sees he talks to God. Didn't just see angels. He actually talks to God in this dream, and God gives him reassurance that the promise that was given to Abraham is going to be given to him. Now, Abraham is his grandpa. All right. So that promise given him is going to remain with him, with Jacob, that he will have descendants. Only he doesn't say, hey, you're going to have descendants like the stars of the sky and the sands of the sea, the beach. No, you're going to have descendants like dust. You know what happens to dust? It blows everywhere. In other words, your descendants are going to be all over the place. All right. So we have that going on, and that's kind of a neat thing. So, yep, you probably got that answer right. It was a ladder or a stairway to heaven. That's what the angels were going up and down. God giving Jacob that promise that he's still going to have many, many descendants all over the earth. Now, I told you there was going to be a part 2 to this question. This one is a little tougher. And let's see how many of you can get this one. Still has to do with Jacob. Still has to do with Jacob being sent out by mom to go find a wife. By this time, his dad has passed away. So he's out looking in the neighboring tribe for a wife. And he has this dream, and he's so excited after he has the dream. Oh, by the way, I have to tell you this. This is kind of weird. You know what he used for a pillow? A rock. He just slept out there in the wild, grabbed the rock, used it as a pillow. Well, I guess it's better than sleeping like this all night, right? At least your head's up a little bit. And in the morning, he took that rock, set it up as an altar, and he worshiped God in that place because he said, hey, I've visited God. This is a holy place right here. Now I want to know, what did he call that holy place? I'll give you a couple of options. Are you ready? He called it Sinai. He called it Carmel. He called it Bethel. He called it Pittsburgh. Are you ready? Dun, 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 dun. Oh, you already know it's not Pittsburgh. Come on. Although that is, if you're a Steeler fan, a holy place. Not holy in the sense that we put, the same level as God, but, pretty sacred to our hearts. No. So out of those, the three that are left, Sinai, Carmel, Bethel. What do you think Jacob called that place? He called it Bethel. Combination of Hebrew words, Beth and El. Beth meaning house, El meaning God. The house of God. This is where I've actually spoken to God. God must live in this place. So it was called Bethel. Kind of a neat story in the Old Testament. It's one of those ones that kind of explains why different places are called different things, etymologies. And why do we call this place Bethel? Because this is where Jacob saw God and talked to him. Testy Tuesday. Kind of fun, aren't they? Where we can have a little look at the scripture, have some fun with it, and realize that, wow, there's so much in there that's neat to hear. This being part of the Revised Common Lectionary, if you were following that little train of thought going through the book of Genesis. But even for those of us who aren't, because I'll be talking about Isaiah again tomorrow, just remember, it's all sacred scripture. It's all the story of God's people and how they relate to a wonderful God, the same wonderful God that you and I relate to this day. And speaking of wonderful, have a wonderful Tuesday.